Hello and welcome to the first episode of City of Geek podcast.
Yay!
I'm Bob Foster.
And I am Cody Masco.
And welcome to all our listeners, essentially our loved ones.
Hi, Mom.
And of course, my wife probably won't listen to this because she doesn't listen to podcasts. And probably Nicole is probably listening. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
This is our first episode, so everything's going to be a little rough as we kind of get the groove of things. But first, we kind of wanted to say who we are if you happen to come across and you're one of the few people listening or reading our site that aren't friends of ours already. City of Geek is something that we founded in the last week. There's actually three of us. Me, Cody, and Kim. Kim is currently in Philadelphia, so she won't be joining us tonight. But she hopefully will come back for other episodes.
I hope so.
And we're looking to do on the 1st and the 15th with a couple of different topics and, catching up on things. You want to talk about the site itself?
So the site itself, CityOfGeek.com. We do have a Facebook page, all that good stuff. Eventually we're going to get into Twitter and whatnot. It's a site for geeks. It's pretty much anything and everything that we are passionate about. Obviously, horror movies. Bob and I are both into the horror community up here in Seattle.
Too, yeah.
And Kim.
Yeah. Horror might be a focus, but it's not
it's not going to be the
focus.
Not our defining issue. Anything from, pretty much what we like. If we see a movie, we'll pull up a review. If we play a video game. I got the new NBA 2K19 video game, so I'll probably write something about that. I will probably be the only one focusing on anything sports related, but I will throw up my terrible predictions once in a while, and you can go back and laugh at them later.
And so all three of us have worked for, worked as indicates we got paid. Wrote or did things for other sites, including ones that would probably still be active with. I wrote for my own site, a geeknamedbob.com, for a while, which I fired myself when we started this because it wasn't. This is much better because I get to work with friends and we get more content and more stuff out there. You can also find me on watchplayread.com, and also thanks to Jason for getting us into various screenings.
Big shout out to Jason. You're super cool, and I hope you're listening to this.
And both of us, all three of us, do stuff with Crypticon.
Yes.
Seattle's preeminent horror convention, the best in the Northwest, best in the world, right?
Heck yeah.
We see us all on panels. I'm a judge at the film festival. Thank you for Eric for that. And who else have you written for?
I have written for HorrorandSons.com. I write once a year for them for their horror readers contest. Or, well, it's not really a contest, but it's... this year I'm actually writing a piece about Creepshow. Last year I wrote a piece about Alice from Nightmare on Elm Street. I wrote briefly for morbidmovies.com. I don't know if they're still active or not. I think the owner has kind of transferred to doing more like film related stuff. So good for you, Michael. And yeah, I did panels at Crypticon last year. It's kind of my first year as a panelist. I'm hoping you'll have me back. Fingers crossed. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge. And yeah, so I met both Bob and Kim through Crypticon. And we've all met kind of through that apparatus.
And we all met at the same place after that, after watching it at Cinerama about a year ago around now. So
yep.
This is a year of work, right? And then she can't speak for herself now, but Kim was the Supernatural Horror Honey. Check out their magazine Belladonna. It just shut down recently, but all the issues are still there. So go pick that up. It's a great digital magazine, and you can probably still buy physical copies because it's the way to go. If you ask me, I'm more about physical media than digital media. As you can see from looking around. You can't, but Cody can.
I can. He's got some cool stuff here.
If I ever get broken into, I know who did it.
It would probably be me.
Or anyone who's been to my house.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool shit. Also, since we did shout out to, before we get to the meat of the matter and everything we're talking about, I just want to give a shout out to all of our friends out in the community, especially in the Seattle, Pacific Northwest area, who answered our various questions about how podcasting works, or just simply people who've supported us along the way. So, thanks to Tom Cornell and Langley West at bonus material podcast. Tom gave me a lot of great advice. Same thing with the guys over at the Graveyard podcast, Grave Plot podcast. I'm sorry, guys, Grave Plot. Been listening to everyone's episodes there, and they're kind of led us to get to this point. And our good friends at Bone Bat, Steve and Gord. Speaking of Bone Bat, they just announced the date for next year's festival.
I won't lie. I'm a bit of a bigger guy, and I definitely want to lose a little bit of weight because I want to go to Bone Bat and not be like on my shifting around in my chair 24/7. But it was so worth it last year, despite how sore I was the next day.
Yeah, go to Bonebat or bonehand.net, I think it is, or just search Bone Bat. You'll find there. So they just do their podcast. They talk about everything in the world. But once a year in Seattle at Seattle International Film Festival, SIFF, at the cinemas uptown, they have 11 hours of horror comedy shorts and 2 features along with the band. Next year will be the 9th year, and it's set for the April 13th. It's a Saturday.
I know what I'm asking for from work now.
It's already in my schedule. And they're actually open for submissions now. So if you are a filmmaker of any sort, just go to their site and put it in for there. And if you're interested in seeing everything else that's come at that festival, they still have the programs up for the last several years. I've been actually watching backwards through them, because they have great taste. I've been 2 years. Everything I've played has been top notch. Some things are a little better than others, but nothing was awful. It's really amazing to have a 11 hours festival with 42 or 46 amazing shorts, with nothing in there stinking up the lot. Besides Gord.
I was super impressed by that. Last year this was my first year at Bone Bat, and when you're putting 11 hours into something, you're taking a day off work, you're hoping it's going to be good. It was great. Got to see that new Wolf Cop. That screened for the first time, and that was a complete surprise for me.
They played the first Wolf Cop in 2014 or 15, whenever it came out. So this year was another Wolf Cop.
Another Wolf Cop.
Which is just as much fun as the first one.
And I like how they get shorts from around the world, too. You get, the short, kind of funny, horror comedy ones, and you get, the deeply serious ones. It could almost be their own film. You do get kind of that. I really liked that Russian one they did, where it was the hitman, where he was the serial killer, and he goes to the serial killer, and there's
another serial killer. And that was a pick me up from the Masters of Horror, but in a different way. And then actually one of the films they played last year, Garden Party, an animated film, was nominated, won the 5 picks for best animated short at this year's Oscars, because of course they play nearly all these play all around the world. Not like it's a Bone Bat exclusive. It didn't win. That basketball one. That was bad. I don't. Every year,
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, that one. It was just a love letter for Kobe Bryant to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, but it won.
I would just like to point out for sports fans, Shaq won Kobe those rings.
I know those names. I don't know anything about them. It's like Shaq, that guy from Steel and Kazam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will watch anything he's in, and that will tie into a movie we're talking about later that I'm ashamed to admit that I love as much as I do.
The 4 movies he's in. I got that one and Blue Chips. So later on we'll be, because we're not just droning, we are going to talk about, it's September already, but we're going to try and talk about some of our favorite movies of this year, or least favorite, and some unsung gems that you might want to seek out that might not be in either end, but could be interesting to watch. So that's our goal, is to eventually get there after we kind of
introducing, giving our shout outs. I'll give a shout out to my friend Nicole. We mentioned her at the beginning, but she's always super supportive. Obviously, my friends, my family, my fiance Carolyn, love you, honey. I'm going to give a shout out to both of the bonus material podcast guys, Langley and Tom. I never actually really talked to you guys about recently, but at Crypticon, you guys both gave me some really good words of wisdom while I was completely out of it.
Which was most of the weekend.
Oh, yeah. No, if you go to Crypticon and I'm there, I start drinking early on Saturdays.
And I think everyone does. It's 5 o'clock and we start going. The flask comes out, and so does the drink.
Oh shit! 5 o'clock. I was drinking at freaking 9 a.m.
Oh, I meant Friday.
Oh, yep, yep.
Yeah, so of course Crypticon's the best thing. You should come out to that, and probably everyone listening to this has been to Crypticon.
Yeah,
probably our friends.
Probably.
Once you haven't turned it off already, he's like, all right, they got the view now. Oh, they got the listen, and then all right, click off. And then also want to shout out to Matt Ellison at Cinema Triforce. This is my second podcast I've worked on, because the other one was with him, guesting occasionally the last couple of years. It's been a little while since my last one. So that's kind of just learning there. And I know I'm saying and speaking really quickly, so I do apologize to everyone listening.
It's okay. It's our first one.
Yes, exactly.
we'll have defined radio voices by the end of this.
Radio voice. My friend Steve is the best radio voice. Since we talk on the phone at Geico all the time. A insurance company we work for. But anyway, so that's who we're also looking at. If you're still listening, 10 minutes in, thank you so much. Now, so before we talk about what we've been watching, our favorite movies of the year, or other things, what is there any particular news that you want to talk about, or things that happened recently in geekdom that we should come up with?
Henry Cavill out of Superman.
Yeah.
What the hell? That was like their best part. I mean, other than Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, those were like the two. And I really even like Ben Affleck.
But Affleck, when he announced, I'm like, he would be a great Batman.
And they all fit. They fit that Trinity role well. It's not their fault that the editors completely screwed Batman versus Superman, and Justice League was absolutely terrible. And the new Aquaman looks good, but man,
Jason Momoa looks like he's having a good time.
He's getting a lot of money for it. I mean, that was kind of a shocker for me this morning. Just more disappointed because DC, in theory, has better heroes than Marvel.
I disagree, but to each their own.
I definitely love the Justice League, and to see them just get bungled, I think that Marvel has just done a massively better job. I mean,
yeah, and that's no matter if I love Marvel, but a lot of what they've done has been formulaic, and people have called out, and they've adapted. Like, they fixed the villain problem for the most part.
I feel like Black Panther was definitely a response to that,
And then, but DC's just, like, stumbling on every way. Like, he keeps shooting himself in the foot, because, well, like, I noted when I posted the article today, I linked to the article this morning on City of Geek on the Facebook page. I didn't have time to write a full post about it. That in the article, it's just quoted as, like, one executive keeps trying to push reset. But it's like, it sounds like there's so many cooks in there that they all want the one thing. It's copy this, let's do this, let's work on this instead. Rather than having a figurehead like Kevin Feige, who, of course, I'm sure he has what executives what's bringing his here. I'm sure he's getting tons of notes in Disney, but he's still like, all right, I'm going to make these, I'm going to do this away. And it seems like they have a lot more, Marvel has confidence in Kevin more than DC has confidence in anything they do.
And they tried, I think, to do that with Zack Snyder, and then when he had to bow out due to the family tragedy, I think that put too many cooks in the kitchen. I thought Suicide Squad was just
trash.
What happened there? I liked it the first time I watched it because I was just happy to Killer Croc. I'll be honest with you. But I was just...
It's them trying to be Guardians. It wasn't really Guardians, and
it just felt like they were doing everything out of order. It's like I would.
Well, they re-edited after that trailer came out, and people liked the trailer because the trailer used Bohemian Rhapsody and had the Guardians feel. So they went back and I talked over you. I'm sorry.
Oh no. That's a fair point. That's pretty much my feelings in the movie is that they really built it up as something that it wound up just never living up to, and that's really the DC universe in general. I like the idea of them doing the Batman that had been on the streets for 20 years. I don't like the idea that you never really got any backstory. I mean, we all know what Batman is, but
yeah, we don't need to see that backstory ever again.
Yeah.
Luckily, talking about Marvel doing things better, where last time we introduced Peter Parker, it's like, oh, it's a long story, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We all know.
Everybody freaking knows. It's like, I liked that they did the Superman origin and him pulling into the larger universe, but they just bungled it from the start, and it was just...
Well, actually, I like Man of Steel.
I loved Man of Steel.
But, I think their individual stories so far have been fine. That's why I'm not too concerned about Aquaman. One, James Wan is directing it. Jason Momoa is always a blast to watch.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman was great. Man of Steel was damn fine, even if other people didn't like it. Their individual efforts, separate from their trying to over arc story. Like, I like Justice League more than you did, I think, but I thought it was just meh. And I have my review up on Watch Play Read where like a movie that features Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and along with everyone else, shouldn't just be meh. It should be amazing.
I fell asleep during that movie, and I've never actually fallen asleep during a movie. I fell asleep at the point where right after they fought Superman because it was just boring as hell. And I woke up like 20 minutes later, and
you didn't miss anything.
I didn't miss anything.
Yeah,
it's
a whole other thing. But
how do you mess that up? How do you just? I just that's like. I'm just in shock that they've managed to bungle it this far.
And just have like what I find interesting is like watching throughout the day is it went from rumor to kind of like we think Henry Cavill's being cut out, and then yes, and now apparently Michael B. Jordan is playing Superman. It's this like from the course of the day from a rumor do we have a new Superman?
Yeah,
who was first just in Black Panther and think, but I'm gonna just wait on anything like that until we
if
find
Michael
more
B.
news
Jordan is Superman. I know a lot of people who are like, oh no, you can't make a black Superman. Yeah, you can. I'm totally fine with it. I think he would be one of the best choices for it, and he deserves a good superhero movie where he gets to be a hero. That Fantastic Four movie.
What Fantastic Four movie?
Oh god.
I definitely want to continue talking about DC and DCU versus the point, but we probably should move on to other things because we got a lot to discuss. But how about? But I was thinking maybe Aquaman comes out in a few months.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman comes out next year. If we still have anyone listening outside of our loved ones, at that point we should definitely
we could do a whole episode just on that.
Yeah, exactly. In other news, there's rumors that Jordan Peele's being tapped to redo Candyman. Because as Tom put it today, for some reason they're taking him as a savior as a genre because of Get Out being so good.
Yeah, I think that can be dangerous. You could make one really good movie. I don't know, and I'm not saying Jordan Peele's not going to make great movie, but I feel like putting so much on him because he's got that's like a third or fourth thing he's like executive co-producing.
Yeah, because he Black Klansman.
Yeah, he did do Black Klansman.
He did produce that. Or at least they threw his name on it because he worked at Blumhouse. And Blumhouse is working on that, so it's like, here's, just throw your name on it. He might be completely involved. I haven't looked, and I do apologize. And Lovecraft Country's coming up from HBO, the adaptation of the Matt Ruff novel.
Yeah, I actually was at Matt Ruff's panel at Crypticon last year. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
He was on a couple panels with me last year. It's good stuff.
I enjoyed. Somebody in the audience asked him because Lovecraft Country is a predominantly African American story set in the 50s. And Matt Ruff is an older white gentleman, and somebody straight up asked
in Seattle,
and he's just like, "So why are you writing about this?" And he actually gave a really good, succinct answer as to why, anybody can write anything, and I thought he really handled it well because the person was pretty aggressive about it.
And now I asked him at the adaptation panel he was on with me at the at Crypticon what his involvement is with the upcoming series. He says he's hands off. He's kind of letting them do the thing. That they offered him to be more active, and he's like, "No, I'll let you guys do your thing. I did my part. You got yours." So I'm just to see how it turns out. Because have you read it yet?
No, I've actually not read
it. It's episodic in a way. That's in a good way, or more serialized, I guess. Where each part can literally be its own episode. Like I don't know if it's going to be a full length TV show or a mini series, but it's like almost written. That can be adapted into like a 5-episode miniseries. That this happens. What's cool. It almost seems like longer form short stories that make up one bigger narrative, but not like say like a Trick or Treat sort of way where they're not really related. They are fully related, but they also could be read kind of on their own without missing too much.
Okay.
And that's not meant to sound dismissive at all. It's just the way that it's written, and it's actually really well way of doing things. It tells him to tell like different types of story without being like, well, your tone's a little different now. It's like, well, the tone's meant to be different at this point. So that that's coming out. Of course, that we went off topic with that, but yeah, I'm not sure about him redoing Candyman. Like Candyman's fine on its own, and I don't want to overuse him. Yeah,
I'm okay with the idea of taking certain horror movie villains like Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers and even Candyman, Pinhead kind of thing, and continuing to make movies, because they did that with Dracula and they did that with Wolfman and Frankenstein, all that good stuff. But my issue is they got to put something new on it. I mean, you can't just do. That's where that Nightmare on Elm Street remake just fell flat.
Yeah, though I did like the Friday the 13th one, but the Nightmare on Elm Street one was
that
trying
was
to
two
replicate
films in one. So I like that one. Yeah, they just tried to replicate it.
And then also TIFF was going on or just finished up and got some good remarks out of that for a couple of movies like this is Roma and Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
I'm excited for that The Hate You Give movie.
Yeah, that's coming out in a few months. And
funny story on that. So anybody familiar with Dinesh D'Souza's Death of a Nation, Hillary's America, knows that the audience that typically goes to that, and I will talk in depth about this movie later. But I was at a screening of that with my fiance, and they showed that trailer for The Hate You Give before this movie, and it was just a bunch of old white people in there, and you could hear a pin drop. Like there was I looked back and they just had like the mouth agape. How dare they show that film to us? So I've seen that trailer about 3 or 4 times now. I'm really, really excited for that. And did they premiere Creed 2? I remember hearing
I don't think so.
Not
or
yet?
Maybe it hasn't played yet.
Not yet?
Yeah,
I've been hearing that's
coming. I
coming.
haven't followed the news. They did play Halloween, which has gotten very positive responses.
Reviews. I mean, really,
I haven't read the reviews, and the number on Metascore has gone down a little bit since I posted that, but
yeah,
it's I always take a lot of horror reviews with a grain of salt. Even movies like Get Out, and Shape of Water isn't really horror, but it's close enough. Of like amazing reviews, like I'm not one of those people who's like the critics suck because they disagree, because obviously we write about this stuff.
Yeah,
but it's something like that I can see people just dismissing and trying to find fault straight up by just simply existing.
That's what people did with the new It.
Yeah,
is that
but
movie was,
people saw it and it did get great reviews though.
It did get great reviews, and then but a lot of people in like the horror community were like, "Oh no, it wasn't scary at all." It's like, ugh.
And speaking of it, they've talked a little bit about the next chapter, which they're going to have the ritual Chud in the book. In the book, it was a really trippy metaphysical part of the book, because there's a lot more going on. Those who have read it or read a lot of Stephen King know there's a lot of connections to the Dark Tower universe with that, and what Pennywise is in that. But that's a whole different thing. But I'm interested to seeing how that would happen. The director and writers have said that this chapter is going to get really weird.
And I'm very excited for it. Like I said, it was great. I think it was probably the best, my second favorite film of last year. It took like a mammoth film to like knock it out. It was really great. And I thought it was genuinely scary. I mean, I thought it did use a couple of jump scares, but it utilized really well. And
the projector jump scare actually got me, and it was well done. Because none of the jump scares were fake jump scares.
No, they were they happened.
And it wasn't a tension undoing one like, say, The Nuns.
They really cast the kids well, and I think that they've cast the adults well, although, because they finished shooting as far as I know.
Yeah,
I
think so.
I really do think it's going to be good, and I'm hopeful that a year from now we can talk about it being on the best of our 2019 list.
I hope so. To come this time next year. And one more bit of news I wanted to bring up was this made me super excited as a goofy horror fan. Bloody Disgusting, for one of the biggest horror website out there. I think they're the biggest, followed by Dread Central. The Bloody Disgusting announced a little film series.
I saw that.
There's going to be 5 features over the course of 3 weeks. On the 27th of this month, I think. I forgot to write down the dates. They're showing The House on Shorty Row. A week later, showing 2 Amityville movies, like 1992, It's About Time, and are they showing the lamp one, or
they are showing the lamp
one? Okay. It's like that's how you get to the later medieval movies. Like the one with the lamp, or the one with the clock, or the one where nothing happens. That's most of them. So I think this is actually 6 and 7, because I think 4's the one with Buddy Duke, 5's the one that has nothing to do with the house, and then you have the house again. Of course, the Amityville movies are fun because it's a series of like 16 movies, and none of them are any good, if you ask me. At least I haven't seen the new one, Awakening.
I thought the first one with like James Brolin was okay. I did not like the role, and I've seen that, and I've seen the Ryan Reynolds one, which was not great.
Yeah, that one's sitting right there on my to-watch shelf.
Man, it is watching at me too. Knows I talk bad about it.
Yeah, I heard.
And I have seen the Lamp movie.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of VHS.
I will be going to that.
Well, yeah, I asked off for work for it already. I got everything set up, and I put it on my calendar. So I'm going to. If I don't make any of the 3 weeks, I'm going to watch the medieval ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, go to BloodyDisgusting.com and look it up. The closest one to Seattle, if it was in Seattle, is in Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn.
And then after that, it gets probably about like 100 miles away to the next one after this. So it's a kind of an odd pick. I would expect it to show up in
Auburn
different cinemas than Auburn, but hey, it works. Like, expect it to be Arc Lodge or something like Dread Central Presents, that
kind of died. I haven't seen a new one of those in a while.
Yeah, I asked Heather about that, and she said it's kind of work. They're doing a lot of stuff with the releasing what they currently have.
Okay.
They put out everything currently on disc. I don't know if Terrifier's on disc, but the other ones are, and so they're promoting that right now. And then there's a couple going direct to video that they're not putting in theaters. I think there's one next week that's coming out. I remember seeing on Dread Central about that. And actually, I wanted to bring up them later on when I talk about shout-outs. But, and then trailer-wise, a couple new trailers popped out recently. We talked about Halloween.
Halloween.
I delayed watching that for a while, but you and Kim talked me into it.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. And just some new trailers that I saw like last night when I went and saw Operation Finale, which I will be talking about. I really think that Bad Times at the El Royale.
I need to see that trailer. Drew Goddard makes me so happy. So
oh my god! It's got such a star-studded cast too. I'm like, it's either going to be an absolute mess or it's going to be amazing. And I want it to be amazing because Jeff Bridges is an evil priest, and I think it's going to be fun.
Is he finally getting over it? Sorry, I don't know what my voice there. Is he finally getting over his scratchy Rooster Cogburn voice, or did he go back to his real one yet?
He's gone back to his real one.
Good. Yeah, I'm tired of this. Because he did it last year for Kingsman 2, and
I've never seen either Kingsman movies.
Oh, the first one's good. The second one is crap.
Yeah.
Without going into too much detail or getting into a full review, I'm just gonna let the crap and leave it at that. And Marvel dropped today a trailer for their animated series coming up, Marvel Rising, for Disney XD, and it looks really funny with Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, Camille Collin version, Spider-Gwen, and Patriot, and a couple other people. So it's it's kid based, but it looks a lot of fun. And of course, a lot of kick-ass lady heroes, which is always amazing to get more.
Yeah.
More of, and we're saying this as a middle-aged white dude. I don't know. I can't identify with any heroes in cinema anymore. I don't know. There's not enough white guys out there.
It's so true.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. No one that cast is a white man, so I don't know if I can watch it. Now the trailer it looks like it sets up the season pretty well, and it looks like a lot of fun. And then Netflix dropped a trailer today for The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, the new Coen Brothers movie premiering in November for them, telling 6 different Coen-esque Western stories.
Okay.
It looks to be pretty funny and kind of off kilter as you expect for Coen Brothers, but they also, it's weird, but the movies they attached to from the makers of was No Country for Old Men and True Grit, which completely in tone different than the tone of the trailer, but then again, it's the Coen Brothers, so you don't know what you get until you're watching it.
Yeah. And
then you watch it again, like, that was amazing. That's weird about them, is like, I love them. I love everything they've done, even Lady Killers and Intolerable Cruelty. But the first time through, it's like, what is going on? And the second time, when you know the full stories, when everything kind of settles in and you kind of see where they're doing, because they tell they tell their stories with a slightly different narrative flow than most directors do.
Speaking of westerns, did you see the trailer for The Sister Brothers?
No, but I've seen the TIFF reviews come out. It looks really cool.
It looks pretty interesting. I was thinking it was going to be more... It's like part comedy, part serious. Joaquin Phoenix is a little weird for me, but I do like John C. Reilly, so... I mean, it'll probably be something good to see, because thanks to... I'll give a non-shill shout out to AMC. I hope you're listening, AMC. Give me some free MoviePass stuff. Yeah, MoviePass kind of died, but that AMC Fan Pass or whatever they have, A-List, $20 a month. And I have a theater right by my house. So that's how I see most of the stuff that I don't like go see with friends. Like, there's like Operation Finale. Like, oh, it's 8 o'clock on a Tuesday. I want to go see a movie right down the street. AMC, please fund me.
And any other trailers or throwouts you want to do before we get into the topic at hand?
I saw the Dumbo trailer.
Well, it's a movie.
Michael Keaton, yeah.
So that's something.
I don't know. Dumbo's such a depressing story.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, don't.
It's been a long time since I've seen the actual movie. But I should.
Hopefully the crows aren't as racist this time, though.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought when it's like, are they going to keep the crows?
Jesus.
It looks like a human story this time with Dumbo as part of it rather than Dumbo being the focus. At least the trailer I saw before.
Yeah, that's kind of the...
where it kind of starts to be like a different thing, and then it reveals, hey, this is a Dumbo trailer. You're like, oh,
okay.
And Tim Burton continuing to... Eventually they'll let him, like, I don't know, there's a whole different set of things here, but I'm feeling that, like, everything I see Tim Burton do lately, it's kind of like, he just keeps begging Disney, can I do this project I want to do? Like, yeah, if you make this for me first.
Yeah, you gotta make
this.
And
then, oh no, how about you make this for me first? Can you make this again? It's like, and he's like, can I please have my creative output? Because everything he's doing now seems kind of like, now I'm sure he didn't come to them and say, I want to make Dumbo.
Yeah.
I don't want to, or Alice in Wonderland. Because that's often, I know what he did early in his career. Like, he said, all right, I'll make this if you let me do this. I'll make Batman Returns if you give me the money to make Ed Wood. Yeah, I'll make, I can make Edward Scissorhands with the money that you give me to make Batman. And the first, of course, both Batman and Batman Returns are amazing. Batman Returns is still my favorite Batman movie. But that's, so of course I'll still be there opening day and give it a go. But yeah, Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Keaton's really good.
And getting his little career resurgence thanks to...
Yeah, Birdman really kicked that off. And then now he's just all bird superhero / villains.
Yeah, he was such a... Like, he's talking about fixing the villain problem with Spider-Man. He was, like, legit terrifying. Even when he's just himself with a knife. Or talking to Peter on the way to Homecoming. I was going to say prom, and Homecoming is literally in the title. Peter goes to the prom. It's a very boring episode of Spider-Man.
Very boring.
We all have that. No, I love Homecoming, but I'm talking about something else. But yeah, let's get into the topic at hand. Like, it's 2018 in September, so usually these type of check-ins would happen at the end of July, and I started to work on my own list for this back then, and I got lazy because I'm my own worst editor, which is one reason why I'm working with other people now. So you can poke me and say, hey, are you going to write this thing? I'm like, maybe. Speaking of, I will have my Little Stranger.
Yeah, I was about to say, later. I'm like, don't you have that Little Stranger thing to write?
It's another tab open up over there. Nice. I didn't finish it. But we're talking about this check-in to the year of how we think this year is going, and some favorites, some not so favorites, and kind of some in the middle that should be checked out. And so, like, on the whole, how do you think 2018 is fine for you, like, for cinema?
I think it's been pretty good. I think there's definitely been some high points. Marvel has put out a couple really, really good films. Full disclosure, I kind of got a late start this year. I moved into an apartment with my fiance, and we both got laid off 2 days into the year. So I had to find a new job and getting into the routine. So the first movie I think I saw in the whole year was, other than going to see Star Wars with my fiance, was Black Panther.
I get February.
And I think
that comes down to, like, right there in my... Yeah, I'm showing Cody a list of everything I saw this year.
Man, your list...
That came out in 2018.
Jesus.
But I interrupt you, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. My list is significantly smaller, but I do have some strong feelings about stuff that I've seen. I mean, obviously, I think Black Panther was the first blockbuster of the year, for sure. It made more money than...
It's 20th. It's 23 on my list.
Jesus.
But yeah, sorry.
No. Black Panther I thought was a very good film. I thought the last act it was just that epic battle again kind of thing.
Stuff I've seen before. Bunch, kick.
I liked Michael B. Jordan. I thought he was a really good Killmonger. I thought he had really good motivations for a villain.
Yeah, which is a good. I think a good villain has. Of course, cheesy villain's always fun, but also one where he's like, I think he's not all that wrong.
Yeah, he's got a good point, and he does make that in the movie. I mean, it's beautifully shot. The lady from The Walking Dead, I can't say her name, and Denai Guerrero?
I'm not trying.
I don't know, but she was fantastic as Okoye in that. I really did enjoy the lady who played Shuri, Letitia Wright.
She kind of stole the movie.
Oh,
what are those? It was like a meme from like 2 years ago. But I didn't even know it was a meme from like 2 years ago. But my wife's a middle school teacher, so she told me it was.
Oh.
I just thought it was funny, and it turns out that's actually a old thing.
Yeah. Marvel's up and hip with the kids.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman, I really played a strong lead, and I love anything that Angela Bassett is in. She's
had a good year with this in Mission Impossible 6 and
carried it. I hope she's going to be in the new American Horror Story as well.
Yeah, which comes on tonight at like 10, I think.
Yeah.
So it's that's another thing coming out. I'm last episodes I watched were a Freak Show, so I'm really behind. So I've heard the last couple of seasons have been good, but
it's really dependent. I mean, a really quick note for it is the first 2 seasons, Murder House and Asylum are good. Coven's okay. Freak Show's okay. Hotel I really liked. Nobody else seemed to. Roanoke was alright, and I didn't watch Cult because I own 19 guinea pigs, and I know they microwave a guinea pig in the 3rd episode, so I said fuck you.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm like, that's gonna be a no from me, dog.
And then tonight's Apocalypse, and apparently it's a sequel series to both Coven and Murder House. And Coven was my favorite out of the 4 I watched, and eventually I will get around to the rest. Like I own the first season, it's right over there somewhere, and I will, since I'm a completist, I will end up buying the other seasons and probably watch them as that happens. And and it's good to see that talking about upcoming movies is that taking trailers. Damn tired of the Star is Born show or getting it just come out. Please.
Oh god!
Every movie since Ocean's 8 has been on every single movie, and you saw my list of what I've seen.
Yeah.
And Ocean's 8 is right there. So I haven't really seen that many times since then.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to be good. I think Lady Gaga is actually a very, very great actress.
Yeah,
but
most people are like just gonna find a reason to hate because she's Gaga.
I've seen it 3 times now. I'm a little sick of it.
But yeah, Black Panther was. I don't put any of the Marvel movies in my tops yet. I found them all to be really good, but not in the top tier. Like I think I'm one of the few people who I loved Infinity War, but I didn't think it was great. Like I personally enjoyed it, but I thought a lot of it was kind of lacking because it really goes like point to point to point to point because they have something to fill and you got so many people. Though it is, Thanos is a great villain, and the best thing about that was, taking someone who we've seen in cameos from them and making people care about him and instant meme. And as they get home, with the time they get home is already memes.
Yeah, boom and done. I actually didn't see Infinity War for a couple weeks after it came out. I knew what happened. I will spoil anything for myself, and I'm okay with that about myself. I spoil everything. Yeah, I thought Infinity War had its definite issues. Truthfully, I'm not the biggest Guardians of the Galaxy person. I mean, and I get a lot. I haven't gotten any flack for that, but like, they're so beloved online. Like, I just don't really like the movies. I like the first one enough.
Well, you may not get any more right.
That's going James Gunn.
Well, more person called him out, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, it's a...
Yeah.
That's one of those weird issues with it. I'm like, I thought I think that it's good that the characters that did get spoilers, if you haven't seen it and you're watching this podcast or you're listening to this podcast,
I think our people who listen to this probably have watched Infinity War, especially since it's out on disc now too.
I like that they're finally gonna just pretty much do the last of the Avengers. The original 6 for the 4th movie. Because
the second time through, I realized, oh wait, the original cast and Rocket are left,
and Nebula,
yeah.
Basically, and Ant-Man, I guess, but he's gonna he's on his own thing right
yeah,
now.
I guess. Apparently, there's rumors that it's going to evolve because of time travel and stuff like that. I've heard rumor that they cast an older Cassie Lang. That he might come out in like a post-snap world. Since we do in the... We're getting into Ant-Man spoilers.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp... Actually, no, I will just stop right there. If you've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, have you?
I actually haven't.
Okay, so never mind.
I never saw either Ant-Man movie. I like Paul Rudd. I just never really got around to it. I kind of quit halfway through Age of Ultron, though. I took a Marvel break for a while. I did not like Age of Ultron.
Don't tell that to my wife. Allison, you don't hear that.
I thought Civil War was good, though. That kind of got me back into it. And then, you have to see Infinity War. It's built up, 8 years of movies. And then I finally saw Ragnarok, too.
Which is now my favorite Marvel movie. Yeah, of course, Goldblum's in it, so you can't go wrong. Well,
Taika Waititi is the director.
And you cannot absolutely go on with that, because if you haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows, or...
Yeah, that's the best
Hunt for the Wilder People, you are absolutely missing out. So, yeah, if you haven't seen either of those, just stop this right now, watch What We Do in the Shadows, and then come back. And then after it's over, watch Hunt for the Wilder People, because you need a break. Have you seen Hunt for the Wilder People?
I have not seen
it. It was probably my favorite movie from 2 years back. I ended up seeing it 3 times in theaters. I loved it that much. And then, of course, at the time, if you work in a movie theater, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
But however, I saw it at SIF, which I don't get free passes for. So I did. So I paid to see it 3 different times, and that's how much I loved it. And then, but yes. So Black Panther.
Black Panther. We kind of looped in Infinity War on that
Infinity
too.
War, yeah.
So that's kind of like I guess that's covering 2 of the biggest movies.
Yeah.
I guess you can throw Deadpool in there.
Which I was kind of iffy about Deadpool, to tell the truth.
I never saw Deadpool.
Oh,
I've never seen the first Deadpool.
You're off my podcast. I'm kidding.
I'm just not the biggest Deadpool fan on the universe. I think he can be funny. I just never really it's one of those things I just never got around to. I'm sure the first Deadpool's funny. I'm sure I will like it. When I see it, I will see it, kind of thing. The second one, however, looks kind of shitty.
It's definitely not shitty, but it's I think there's a lot of structural issues with it, and there's a little bit of trying too hard to replicate the first film and be as funny as the first film, because it's an issue with a lot of comedy sequels, and that you have to try and replicate the same humor and often ends up replicating the same jokes.
So Super Troopers 2,
which I didn't see. Is that on your bad list?
I wouldn't even put it in the bad list. I have to hate something to be bad. I was just disappointed.
Oh, okay. So I love
Super Trooper.
Love the first.
Is my
I saw that in a crowded theater opening night. It was probably one of the best nights in the movie theater.
My brother gave me a copy of it when I was 10, for Christmas one year.
I forget how much older I am of you.
I don't know. That's actually a good question. I
just 20 something when it came out.
I saw that movie for the first time at 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve. I stayed up, and I was trying to stay up the whole night to Christmas, and I watched it, and I fell asleep at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, fair enough.
Worth it.
Yeah, going to one of my favorite movies of the year. I'm going to hold off from I have a triplicate for my favorites because they kind of move around. But since we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier today, it's within my top. Actually, I have this as my currently number 7, but I'm going to throw it out there. But BlacKkKlansman.
Yes, and we can kind of tie into that because BlacKkKlansman right now is my top movie of the year.
So if we